guys, welcome back to the Independent Investor channel. This is going to be one of those things that I come out with for my subscriber base that tunes into the Independent Investor channel for a different perspective, okay? And you can call this the alien perspective if you want. Sometimes I feel like an alien because I look at what people are opting for when they go into a financial planning institution and subject their money to that particular managed account. Now, we've already talked about what that can mean for your money over time. But if you look at it holistically and what's out there on the landscape, it can be extremely confusing when you've got, the YouTube community talking about, I bought $50,000 worth of stock this week. I bought this stock. I bought that stock. And here I am as an alien sitting back and saying, I didn't buy any stock. Why would I do that? My program is solid, okay? There's introduced volatility, right? If you want to do some strategic buying, then I'm all about that, all right? But this is sometimes one of those perspectives that are perceived to be so foreign to people that it's as if it's from another planet, honestly, all right? And I contend that since this is perceived to be from another planet, all right, we need to look at what it is that is so different about investing as a self-directed investor. And all those folks that are talking about, blah, 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 I bought $50,000 worth of stock. My question is, congratulations, you've just subjected $50,000 to unnecessary tax in a volatile market. To me, it just seems extremely stupid, to be honest with you. All right? The stock market is not one of those things that you need to be frivolous with. All right? It is a war zone. I've said this many, many times. You have to approach the stock market carefully, calculatively. You will never succeed at the stock market if you're just frivolously throwing money at the stock market and then crossing your fingers, hoping that your stock will appreciate with no acknowledgement whatsoever as to what the plan is for that money, or if you're subjecting that money to tax. It makes no sense, all right? It makes for a wonderful headline, no doubt about it. It catches people's attention, all right? But what I want to talk about on this video, we've already talked about, and hopefully you guys have tuned in to why you opt for a self-directed program. And I've got people that are hitting me up, what are the best brokerage houses to do that in? I'm going to come out with those answers, guys. Stick with me. This is an infinite topic. And when we talk about alien investing, it really is infinite, all right? It really is. So bear with me while I get into those specifics. But if you're sold on the idea and you're like, Ryan, I get it. I want to be a self-directed investor. What does it mean? What do I have to do next? All right? How is it that I can go through some self-deliberation and understand what level of exposure is going to be appropriate for me to the stock market? All right? So let's kind of get into a little bit. This is going to be a very, very simple explanation. And this is one that I find I get frustrated all the time when I sit back and I do not understand why, if people are aiming to help people who don't know a lot about investing, why they are not talking about structural, fundamental approaches, all right? Are they incapable of doing so? I contend that you really need to have a lot of experience in the stock market to really be able to break this down in the simplistic terms that I do to really, really help people. And I'm going to give this as a quick shot video to have you sit back for a second and ask yourself, what type of investor can I be? What type of investor should I be? All right? Should I be an investor of a passive nature? All right? And what I mean by that is, Ryan, I don't want to lose money in the stock market. What type of investor should I be if I want to have exposure to the stock market, but I don't want to lose a bunch of money? All right? The passive investing option is probably for you, and that's one that I introduce for people who are just getting started. And you ask yourself, okay, well, what products can we put in this middle? We are not talking product yet. We are not. We are talking philosophical investing strategies. We will get to the internals of this, all right? But I find so often in the differing of opinion across YouTube especially, and across the broader financial market, is everybody wants to start in the middle and talk about what stock to buy or what mutual fund to just jam into an account to start working for you. And there is no acknowledgement whatsoever about what type of investor you want to be. If you said, Ryan, I want to be a 100% passive investor, make no mistake, there are products that can fill this niche for you, all right? Now, I also talk about the active option, all right? Being an active investor. And what I define that to be is to introduce your self-directed Roth IRA account to some single stock exposure. Now, we talk nothing less of best of breed on this. Good dividend paying companies that pay a dividend or have historically paid and raised their dividends over time. I don't screw around with subpar stocks. I don't. All right, that's why I talk all the time about J&J, JP Morgan, right? The best in the breed, Apple Computers, Cisco, Intel, that we talk best of breed. And that's what I speak of over here when I talk about being an active investor. Now, if you said, Ryan, I'm interested in being an active investor, do I recommend becoming a 100% active investor? And it all really just depends. If you've got existing cash buildup or you've got existing 401ks that have already been working over time, you can absolutely justify putting some of your dollars to work in this active category over here, all right? And the last thing I kind of want to talk about is if you said, you know, Ryan, I'm interested in some passive, but I'm also interested in some active exposure as well. That's where I get into my passive active blends, where we start to look at an ETF stock portfolio as it blends together. And that's where I come up with the 50-50 blend. Maybe you go 50% passive and 50% active. Maybe you go 75% passive and 25% active, right? We have to start thinking about this structurally and breaking down things. You can't just frivolously throw products into an investment account or a brokerage account for that matter and not understanding what the ramifications are. And that is why I came out with this video to talk about investing like an alien, because nobody talks about this stuff except for me. And I might be just dead wrong, but I'm not. All right, I am not. This warrants discussion for new investors. And at the end of the day, this is what new investors need to be focused on. Where I feel like most of what is earthly in the investing community is always wanting to focus on the product, the product, the product, the product. You're missing the point. You have to focus on everything that surrounds the product, and the product really should be placed in the proper allocation in the account last, not first. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this quick shot video of what type of investor do you want to be. Sometimes you need to deploy alien perspectives, because if you listen to all the earthly advice you're getting, you're probably going to be misled. You probably are. If it's your first time tuning into the Independent Investor channel, I would highly encourage and ask for your subscription to the channel, guys. Share this message with anybody out there that you know is looking to get exposure to the stock market. Leave your comments at the bottom, man. Start to foster a dialogue about foundational wealth building principles, all right? Hit me up. Let me know that I'm wrong. Let me know that you agree, guys. But let's start to foster a dialogue about talking what is really important in the investing world and not all about the distractions that are out there all the time, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and good luck in your investment future.